Hi, I'm Jeff Richard, the creative director of Chaosium Inc.
And I am Jason Durall, the line editor for the game Runequest, which is the topic of discussion today.
And today we're going to talk about making your Runequest character. Before we actually get into the traditional aspects of making a character in any game system, the characteristics, your runes, your skills, and whatnot, RuneQuest gives an optional ability, and a highly recommended one, to ground your character in the setting and teach you really all you need to know about the setting to start play through what we call the family background.
Right. Now, you did use the word optional, but I would almost say that it is the preferred and the default way to create a character, because really it allows you to have a character that comes from something. You have a background, and you have a family and kin and a tribe affiliation, and all of these things come together with all of this weight of experience and this momentum going forward to help drive you into some really interesting ways. Or they can be things that have happened in your past and to your family's past that cause your character to react and go a different way.
Oh yeah, very, very, very much so. I mean, I would never actually make a character without doing that, because it's also a blast to go through, because your character. But maybe we should actually explain what you do in it.
Yes. So I'll let you start.
So you pick what part of the world, what homeland your character is from, and then you decide which of your grandparents had the biggest impact upon your character's life. And you start by looking at some events that took place during the time of your grandparent. And that's to start getting us a feeling of, like in the Icelandic sagas, where you have characters that hate each other because of things that happened generations ago.
Right.
And so this allows us to create a little bit of that feeling. Maybe your grandparent fought and died at some important battle against people from another homeland. Or maybe your grandparent tried to defend the kingdom of Sartar from the Lunar Empire, or a wide variety of possibilities there.
Right, just like in the real world, if you grew up and there had been like a war that happened in your parents' lifetime, it would have been a very, for a big war like the Revolutionary War or the Civil War or World War II, this would have had a very pronounced impact on your grandparent or your parent's life, and they may have even participated in that.
And then you move forward on this and pick which of your parents had a similar.
Right. And I don't know if we've gone into it, but one of the things, the way you determine this is it's a series of tables based on every year. There's a sequence of events, and you can roll with a modifier based on your homeland, and that sort of determines like what happened to your grandparent that year, and then your parent. And it could range from they got something really awesome, they took part in a particular battle, maybe they got some battle treasure or some renown that is echoed down to affect your character because you're the grandson of so-and-so or the granddaughter of someone else. Or you may have like a family heirloom that has been passed down generation to generation and is now in your hands.
And although Jason said you roll on this, if something's really important to you, if it's really important as for how you're developing your idea of the character, you can also just kind of pick the result there, because it's all designed to, the randomization is designed to basically create a mix of options there.
Right. And the game master in some cases may also say, hey, I want all of you to have had this event happen in your past.
And you go through this, and it's essentially, it's a very short mini game that you go through, and then you get to your character coming to adulthood, and your character may have participated in battles or may have avoided big events going on. There's things that have happened to your character for the preceding years prior to the start of play, so that your character has a personal history.
Yeah.
But unlike first edition Traveler, you can't actually die during character creation.
No, your grandparents or your parents can die, but in this case, you can either switch to the other grandparent, or you can assume that they remarried and everything worked out.
So we've ended up doing an awful lot of playtesting with this, and what I find really wonderful about this is that we take people that know nothing about Glorantha at all, run them through the family background, and they have a sense of their character. They have a sense of the setting. They have a sense of the things that matter to them about it, and they've learned it without forcing you to read some sort of idiot's guide to Glorantha or a manual.
Or just a lot. And in some cases too, the I think the most interesting thing is that when you end up with different players around the table end up actually having been at the same place and having the same event happen to them, and in some cases they end up being on opposite sides of the battlefield during a particular war or skirmish, which can always lead to some interesting conflict later on as politics and society changes.
Oh yeah, I mean that the entire family background process ends up generating so many role-playing game hooks, right, and possible ties between the players, that it's just it's actually my very favorite part about character creation, right, and it happens even before you decide anything about your character.
Right. And well, another thing too is it actually gives you a lot of or can result in specific game benefits to things like skills and like
passions,
magic,
especially passions,
particularly, and all of those then move forward into the point where you actually start figuring out, now you know who you are or what's behind you, but now the next step in character generation is who you are, and that's what we'll be covering in the next of our instructional videos.
See you then.